But first, if you're in the market for a brand new car, you're about to get more than you bargained for. A lot of the new cars are coming with driver-facing cameras that monitor your facial expressions while you drive. So if you yawn while you're driving, an alarm will sound and a message lights up on the screen telling you perhaps you need to take a break. Or if you look at your passenger for a moment, an alarm sounds and a message pops up saying, keep your eyes on the road. Of course, the irony is to read the message that says keep your eyes on the road, you have to take your eyes off the road. Now, these are all designed to ensure driver safety, but critics say it makes cars less safe because they're quite distracting. And Liz, plenty of married people would say one backseat driver is enough already.
I don't know that it's about that. I mean, if anything, this could get the wife off your back. but I just hate that here is yet another implementation, all in the name of keeping you safe. It's all in the name of keeping you safe. And yet we know, of course, this is literally surveillance inside your very car, which is a very personal space for a lot of people. You have private conversations in there, and what you do in there is your own business as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Get this, we don't know whether this thing will be actually collecting data on you. The manufacturers claim, oh, no, it's just a loop that analyses the driver's behaviour and gives them instructions accordingly, aiming to be helpful. Well, that doesn't dissuade people's fears because we know it wasn't that long ago both Tesla and Toyota were busted for using the data that these same surveillance in-car machines were in their vehicles. Check this out. From the same article today, Tesla's Elon Musk denied the in-car cameras in the Model 3 and Model Y were being used to film owners before an independent investigation found Tesla employees often circulated images or videos of customers without their knowledge, including images of naked drivers. Putting aside what are you doing driving naked, which is the obvious question.
In the room.
The more important elephant in the room is what are the Tesla employees doing with any kind of images or photos of occupants of any Teslas if, in fact, this is just looped system which gathers data so it can speak to drivers to keep them safe. So that's already been blown out of the water. Next chip off the block was Toyota. Let's go back to this article. An investigation by consumer group Choice found in February that Toyota was collecting personal data from customers who did not opt out of its connected services policy. How sneaky is that? How many times have we been caught out by similar systems where they're like, oh, you didn't opt out. I didn't know I'd been opted in against my will. Very, very cheeky. Worse than cheeky. I just think this is completely Big Brother. There is, of course, their own reasons for doing this.
Yeah.
Data, there is nothing more valuable than data.
Correct.
If you have someone's data, you can sell it to umpteenth dozen countries, or companies rather, countries too, and they know everything that they need to know about you in order to market things to you, surveil you further, etc.
And to perv on you, apparently, as well, over at Tesla.
Yeah.
And it's anything that's got a computer in it, you are the product, basically. And, I mean, if you're buying a Tesla or you're buying an iPhone or a MacBook or any other, high-priced electronic item, you think you've got the bee's knees, and you probably have got the bee's knees, but you are still the product. You are paying these companies for them to be able to monitor you with a product that, as you say, data is so valuable. And you look at cars these days, all the bings and the bongs and the technology they've got in them, they are glorified computers. Like, you are just driving a computer, basically. Yeah. You take your car down to the mechanic now, he doesn't look through the engine to see what's wrong with it. He plugs it into a diagnostic machine and the thing tells him what is wrong with it. It is your car, and every other electronic device is collecting information constantly. And now it's not only about the information from the vehicle, it's information from you. And I reckon, apart from the danger of giving up all that stuff and people at Tesla looking at naked images of drivers and all the other data that they're collecting, I actually believe it makes drivers lazier and worse. I was in a car once, my mate we're driving back from Warrnambool to Melbourne. And we were both a bit hungover. This was after the May Racing Carnival. And he goes, watch this. And we're on a country road, barrelling along 110 kilometres an hour. And he takes his hand off the wheel. And I nearly crapped my dacks. And this thing corrects itself. And I thought, OK, great piece of technology. You fall asleep at the wheel, the car will correct itself. But what about the day that that computer fails to work and you're doing that trick in front of someone and then next thing you're in a tree? You're lulled into this false sense of security. Oh, if I'm tired, the car will tell me I'm tired. If you're tired and driving on the road and you need the car to tell you that you're tired and should pull over and have a nap, you shouldn't be on the road in the first place. So, like, it's the data that it collects, it's the laziness that it breeds, it's just all bad news as far as
And this is not a surprise about drivers being distracted. Back in 2008, there's a German town west of Berlin, and they got rid of all traffic signs, speed signs, warning, crest up ahead, and accident rates dropped dramatically. And what they figured was that when drivers knew they had to be responsible rather than having a sign to warn them, they actually drove the car. But now what we're doing is we're putting these warning signs inside the vehicle, which only increases the distraction. Back to your point, Liz, how long before governments start working with car manufacturers so that the moment you touch your phone, a fine is automatically issued to you and demerit points
I'm sure that's
taken?
already well and truly underway because if you've got a camera in your car watching you at all times, they're going to know if you do touch your phone. They're also going to know simple things like you won't need a speed camera to catch you out.
Right. It'll know.
The car will be like, I'm in a 60 zone and you hit 67. Why anyone would opt in. And it's interesting to note that the Mitsubishi Motors Australia chief exec literally says, he's quoted in this same article saying, we are compelled to do this. We have no choice if we want to keep our 5-star rating. So you know that someone very powerful somewhere is pulling the strings to ensure that any new cars being made now, if you want a 5-star rating, you have to include this in-car surveillance system. Again, all in the name of keeping you safe. Well, what else is State Daddy up to keep us safe? I'm so glad you asked.